Okay, welcome, and we're going to go ahead and show you how I use Docker to connect to MySQL databases. I'm going to have running two different databases, one that's local on my machine using Docker, and I also have another one in the Amazon cloud that we'll go ahead and connect to as well. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and pull down the image from the Docker store. And the one we're going to use is PHPMyAdmin / PHPMyAdmin. And we'll get the latest version. Of course, I already have the latest version, so there's nothing for me to download. And then we're going to go ahead and use a Docker Compose file. I prefer to use Docker Compose, even though you can just run the container as with a Docker run command. I like the Docker Compose because it allows me to save my settings and just quickly and easily reuse them without having to think about what commands I need to add to my Docker run command. So we'll go ahead and we'll create a new file in that directory. And we'll go ahead and save that file into I'm going to go ahead and just save it to my desktop. I've created a folder called PHPMyAdmin. And we're going to go ahead and use version 3.7 of Docker Compose. I've tested this down to version 3, I believe, and it works fine. The services that we're going to need, and we're going to create one called PHPMyAdmin. You can name it whatever you want. The image that we want to use, image. The image we want to use is PHPMyAdmin / PHPMyAdmin. I like to give it an easy name for reference, so we'll go ahead and call it PHPMyAdmin. Sounds good. Environment variables. I did not research this variable. Environment. But we're going to create one called PMA arbitrar equals 1. I don't remember what the PMA arbitrary equals 1 is, but that's what I have in one of my prior settings, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave that. I think I grabbed that from the Docker Web Hub website for PHPMyAdmin. There were some environment variables, and this is one that was suggested. Don't need the restart command, but it's just a habit of mine. And the port we want to open up to access the PHPMyAdmin website, we'll go ahead and use port 8899, just a random port number. Oops, let me put this down. It needs to be down in another line. 8899, and the port inside the container is port 80. This is just, I'm using port 8899 on my local host because I might have some other services running and I don't want to conflict with those, so I'm just creating a hopefully unused port number. Volumes. I do like to save my sessions when I'm working, so in case I might need to reference them at a later point in time. We don't need to do that, so let's go ahead and just skip that for now. So this is all we need to run the file. And we'll go ahead and open up a terminal command, and we'll go to clear. This is on my desktop, and it's PHPMyAdmin. So once we're in the folder, you notice that there is only one file in there. It's the Docker Compose YML, and we need to be in that folder to run the Docker Compose command, or else this will not work. Docker Compose. We'll bring the container up and TACD to put it in detach mode so that we can get a terminal prompt back, but it's running in the background. Unsupported option port. I meant ports. Thank you very much, Docker, for letting me know what I missed. It's ports, not port. Let's save that. And go ahead and run the same command again. Creating the network. Good. So now we'll take a look and see what services I have currently running. I have just the one. Docker PS lets you list out any running containers. So I have just one, and at the very end, I've got a simple name for it called PHPMyAdmin. So now let's go ahead and open up a browser. Gotta find a browser. Okay, so we'll open up a browser. We'll go to localhost 8899. And we have PHPMyAdmin. So now we just need some servers that we can connect to. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and go to a WordPress folder that I have that actually I've been using Docker to create WordPress sites, and this is a version I have that I've been playing with locally. And it has its own Docker Compose file. So we're going to go ahead and open up a terminal window at this location. We'll just go ahead and right-click Terminal, New Folder, and we'll see the upper level. Okay. So if you notice, there's our Docker Compose file. Docker Compose up TACD. Go ahead and wait for the WordPress to spool up. Now you can see that we have a WordPress sample website, and there is a database for it as well. And that database is currently talking to my local port 33060. Actually, sorry, 8886. I gotta remember which line I'm looking at. So my WordPress website is at localhost 8888. We're not even going to access that. We just want the database, and I got that pointed at my localhost 8886, which in the container is the normal MySQL port 3306, and of course 8899 is the local port that we're using to contact PHPMyAdmin. So let's go ahead and bring back up our web browser and the server. Now, when we're using on a local host, you can't just type localhost in the port number. PHPMyAdmin is very finicky about it needs the actual IP address of the machine. So we're going to go ahead and grab my IP address. So if config, and we're using EN0. So my current IP address is 172.16.158. Copy that. Back to PHPMyAdmin. Paste that in, and the port was 88. What was the port number? 8886. And the username for this database, just because I'm doing this locally and it's a quick setup, we're just going to call it WordPress is the actual username, and then the password was WordPress. And if I hit go, with any luck, I will be in the database. So we have our WordPress database. I can see all of the tables. You can see that we have all the different tables in the database. And hopefully you've used PHPMyAdmin before. This is not going to be a tutorial on how to use it, but I'm going ahead and showing you that we can easily connect to one. And then I'm going to go ahead and just export this database out. Actually, go up a level to export. We want to export the whole database. And this is how I actually back up my WordPress databases. I go in using PHPMyAdmin and just export out the SQL that created the database. I'll give it a moment to save. I'm going to go ahead and save the file into my downloads folder, and we'll go ahead and just show you what that looks like. Go in here and we'll go ahead and hit downloads. Okay, and I went ahead and opened up the SQL file just so you can see that everything has been created. We have all the information from our WordPress website in here. And now we're going to go ahead and log into my Amazon version of MySQL that I have out on the internet. And this is only going to be up temporarily, so don't try to connect to this database. It won't let you connect anyways because I have it locked down so that only my actual IP address can contact this database. So let's go ahead and go back to PHPMyAdmin. So that was in my browser. We're going to log out PHPMyAdmin, and we're going to go ahead and connect to the server. I just need to grab the address for it. And the server is located on Amazon, and there is a my test user and the password for that user. Go ahead and log in. And we are now connected to my Amazon version of MySQL. And we can go ahead and we can look. There is no WordPress database. We'll go ahead and just create that database real quick. Actually, I don't remember if in our SQL file if it creates the database. Let's go take a look at that real quick. No, it does not create the database. It only creates tables. So we need to have a database ready to go. So let's go ahead and create a database. New database name, WordPress. And for the database collation, we're not going to use the Latin one. We're going to use the UTF-8 general CI. Go ahead and create our database, and it's been created. And obviously there's no tables for that. We'll go ahead and import. And our file was in the downloads. And go ahead and import. That's going to take just a minute as the SQL file gets uploaded to the Amazon server. And we'll go ahead and pause until we get there. Okay, and the database was now imported. So it's an easy way to back up your database from maybe even like a local development machine, and then export that out and then re-import it into your new database. So I had a local database, export it out, and then import it into my database that I had out on the internet on my Amazon slice. So that is how I use Docker to spool up PHPMyAdmin. It's very quick and easy, and as long as you understand how to use PHPMyAdmin, this is a nice way to load up a simple, quick container. And I hope everything works out well for you. If you have any issues, go ahead and comment down in the video below, and I'll do the best to answer any questions that may arise. Now, I'm not a PHPMyAdmin expert, nor am I a Docker expert. However, I do like to use it, and I'm learning quite a bit. So I figured I'd do a few videos of how I'm using Docker to do my work throughout the day. And of course, if you like this video and would like to see more on how I use Docker for various functions, if there's an image that you would like me to go ahead and test, let me know, and I'll see if I can show how to use that image. Or if you would like to see more samples on working with the various aspects of WordPress, I'm willing to do some videos on various themes and plugins and how they work. So go ahead and comment below, and I'll do the best I can. Thank you much. Oh, and please do subscribe, because I would like to see more and more subscribers. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button so that you will hear, or at least get hopefully a notification that I might have a new video out. And go ahead and hit that like button as well. Thank you very much.